on the spot with painting panel 1, which is the causal of all of the childhood wounds and the light behind it. And I'm going to get into the metaphor of this painting. So bear with me, this is really on the spot for me, but it's good practice. All right, so I'm going to paint now the backdrop of, the darkness. Okay, so this is oil paint, and I'm going to just paint up the backdrop because this is the no thing. Okay, so this represents the nothing, the no thing. So I'm going to darken the entire background, and let's see how far I can get with this. Is this the thinner of the paint? Is this the thinner?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so I'm going to put a little paint thinner on there so we can really smear it up and get a feeling for the darkness of the background, which is starting from nothing, the no thing. All right, so when we start from no thing, then really the blank canvas was the actual no thing, but now I'm painting over it. So here is the yin and the yang of it. So now we've got a nice, more or less, dark background. Okay, panel 1. And actually this is kind of fun for me to do. I wish I were faster at this because I know we are on a timeline here. Yes? Yes? No? What do you say? All right, so here is the darkness from where we start. And then this is going to be a metaphor right here for the light. Okay, so let's put some light in here. This is the light of the background. And this is our potential. This is basically we're born whole and complete, and this is our potential of who we can be, what we can be. And so this is the light that we are capable of, which I refer to in my book, Be the Cause, Healing Human Disconnect, as the potential to be the big I, the whole and complete self. And I want to make sure that you know that you can ask me questions, and I think I can live stream the answers. Yes? Okay, so here we have it. We've got I'm going to put a lot more white on this, so why not just go for all this beautiful white and light, and there it is, our potential of our whole and complete self. But what happens to this potential? Well, what happens to this potential is that we are shadowed over, okay? So we're shadowed over by what I will refer to as infiltrations from the past. And so let's kind of use another tone here. Let's use a little bit of, burnt umber. Okay, that can be a metaphor for the shadows of the past, which I refer to as the 5 childhood wounds. So let's put in the 5 childhood wounds here. And, whoa, very nifty. Okay, so the childhood wounds. So we've got the shadows of neglect, okay, and the shadows of emotional and verbal abuse, and the shadows of sexual abuse. You see how our light is being eaten away? You see how we're being compromised? And the shadows of smothering. Okay, so these are all of these shadows that our primary caregivers shadow us with. And then here we have the shadow of emotional abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, smothering. And there's one more that I know I'm missing. I'm sure I'll think of it. But these are how we are compromised. And so our potential for wholeness and completeness is, as you can see, shadowed over. And so as a result of that, we get shattered, fractured. Our psyche is shattered and fractured, and of course, compromised. So you can see that this whole background, which is darkness, has behind it the potential for injury, which is represented by, I guess we're representing it with the brown here. Okay. But guess what? Because we are driven to heal, it's just part of our nature. We want to heal. So we want to burst through this bubble of neglect, and behind this is our desire to break through and shatter the darkness. So here I'm going to use some yellow to represent some light coming through. So no matter what they're trying to do to us, meaning our multi-generational past, it's not 100% successful, because there is the potential to shatter our own darkness and create and recreate, which we will go into as we work through the panels. So this is the potential for our light. Let's put a little bit of the yellow in here so you can understand that this is energy. This is your energy to not be at the effect of all this darkness. It's really the struggle. It's the human struggle trying to break through the effects of these childhood wounds. And let's use a little bit of the blue here to represent a little bit of the healing. So blue is a very healing color. And so out of this too, we will streak through some blue so that you can see that the desire to heal is strong. It's pretty intentional within us to have within us this healing intention. So here's the healing intention, and of course many of you have seen the mind map, so this is kind of like another version of it, if you will. And I want the watchers to be able to ask questions, so please join me in asking questions as we work through some of this. So even within these wounds of childhood, if this is our multi-generational past, we've got cultural wounds here, we've got parents who didn't heal themselves, we've got multi-generations of families who didn't heal themselves, and so you can see that this darkness, if you will, is powerful. Is powerful. But then again, so is our light. Our light is powerful, and as you know, how do we fight darkness? We fight darkness with light.
You have a watcher from Toronto.
We have what?
You have a watcher from Toronto.
Oh, really? Cool. Fellow Canadian. Hello, watcher from Toronto. Welcome to the live streaming. And bear with my artwork here. I just hope it gets better and better the more I do this. So here is our potential for the light. Okay. And let's put some more yellow in it because it's strong. Okay? Even though we think that the darkness is strong, our light is even stronger. So let's really let this resonate. And as we work through the process of these childhood shadows, if you will, then I think you will see that this will start to, at first, create a shattering of the psyche, and then later we're going to start to get into the healing process so that you can understand that we are not the cause of part one of our lives, but we are the cause of creating healing for ourselves and hopefully for our children and others. So this is kind of my version of the mind map for today, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. And again, I want to go over this so that you can clearly understand what the Freud I'm doing, okay? So this is the light of the background of the big eye, the potential to be the full self, the full manifestation of the self. And these shadows represents verbal abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, neglect and smothering, and all forms of shadows that our multi-generational past inflicts us with. And what's our job is to move these shadows away so that we can start to manifest. Again, we can start to break through into this beautiful light of who we were meant to be. So I just want to get some more rays of light in here so that you can see that it is possible, even with all the darkness around us, it is possible to have these breakthroughs, and I've witnessed a lot of them, and please join us and the team so that you yourself can witness and experience the healing that is possible. Because just because we're at the effect of part one of our lives, it doesn't mean necessarily that we're stuck there. It doesn't mean that we have to stay in the shadows. It doesn't mean that we have to be at the effect of, because once we start understanding our power and our potential to be the cause, then we can start tapping in, and we can start making conscious all of the shadows that we have lived at the effect of. And the more we become conscious of these shadows, the less power they hold. So there's going to start to lighten up over your healing process. These shadows are going to start to dissolve and lighten up and hold less and less power. And as a result of that, there will be more light available.
We have a watcher from Ireland. Thanks you for all your work.
Oh, wow. I'm so honored to be doing this kind of work, and to know that people from all over the world are understanding mind map. Once upon a time, my mind map was just a little idealistic drawing that I created as a model for healing global disconnect. And now I understand that in order to heal global disconnect, we have to heal individual one by one, heal individually, and tap into our light and start softening these shadows. So I'm totally honored and delighted to be part of this work. So I'm going a little bit crazy on the painting because I actually love to paint, and you know, this looks way different than the mind map that you're used to seeing. But this is my version of it today as I free associate to the process. And you can see here all of the energy and also the power, which I'm going to represent with a little bit of red here. All of the power that's possible as a result of this. So when we create our own healing and we create our own awareness, then this power reverberates out. And also, as we heal and we heal the next generation, then we are no longer at the effect of, and not only are we no longer at the effect of, but the next generation is no longer at the effect of. So look at this beautiful, fiery, powerful red.
We have a
red.
couple questions.
Okay, yeah, please ask away, everyone.
So,
I'm going
Ida,
crazy with cleaning this, so go for it.
Ida says, what is your advice for feeling like you've been triggered or taken a couple steps back in your healing due to your surroundings or your people that you're around?
What are the steps to healing? Okay, here they are, okay? Number one, know that you're not crazy, you've been made crazy, okay? You are not the cause of part one of your life, The light that you brought into the world is with you. It's there. It's your potential to be the best of your best. How do we clear away these shadows? We clear them away by shining. Here, let's do this. Let's shine a little bit of truth light on that. Okay, so look, a little bit of truth light. This is really fun. I thought I'm doing this. It's kind of making my day. So there's the truth light. Look what happens when we shine some truth light on the shadows. Look, they're getting more and more dissolved. They're not as prominent. So step number one, shine the truth light on the shadows and understand who done it, what happened, why, the multi-generational process of what shadowed over you. And number two, let's follow the mind map. Maybe we can go to panel one, which is the causal panel, the blueprint panel, and then the shattering, which is what shattered our psyche, what shattered our sense of well-being, and what encoded into us, which is panel three. And understand that in order to break through to the other side, we have to identify the problem, and then we have to identify how we interpreted the problem. Interpretations such as, oh, well, maybe our parents did that to us because we're not smart enough, or good enough, or lovable enough. So we've got to identify the whole process of what we bought into and what we believe to be so, and understand that all of these belief systems are based on lies. So like anything, if something is not built on and foundationally correctly, we've got to tear down that structure and rebuild. But for now, I wanted you to see the light of your potential. Let's get some more white going here. Hold on a minute. I really want to bring that white out, okay? There it is. Here is the white of your potential.
And what advice would you have for someone who's in the process of healing, who feels like they're taking backward steps and needs to get back on track?
Okay, so if you're taking backward steps, that's just the process of life. It's always backward steps, right? So now we understand what our triggers are. Usually when we take backward steps, it's because we are being triggered by life. Maybe we're being triggered by a spouse or a child or a coworker or a boss, or, okay, so we're being triggered. So now we're going to identify what the cause of the trigger was. So if let me give you an example. Let's call this one verbal abuse, okay? See that little shadow there? If that's verbal abuse and your parents were calling you stupid, for example, and then your boss comes along and calls you stupid, well, what's that gonna cause? That's gonna cause a reverberation, a little earthquake in you, a little trigger in you, or a big trigger in you. And that's going to, again, create an effect, a negative effect. Okay, so by identifying the fact, and this is a fact, that all of these dark spots are not based on truth. So if a parent calls a child stupid, is it because the child is stupid? If the parent doesn't know how to parent properly, is it the child's fault? Of course not. So by working it through and eventually getting the psychological poison out of your system, you get to reconnect. I'm going to put some more yellow here, okay? reconnect to your light.
And we have another question.
Okay, very nice, your light.
Similar to the last question, what if somebody intellectually understands the causes and the reason why they're feeling emotional pain, but emotionally they're feeling resistance to healing?
Okay, that's a great question. If they're feeling emotionally resistant to healing, well, I think one of the reasons people feel emotionally resistant to healing is because they're used to thinking that it's all their fault. And it's a very scary process to shine the truth light on the truth of what happened and who done it, because now our parents are involved, and our parents are supposed to be our source. They're supposed to be the good guys. They're supposed to be who is protecting us. And sometimes that's so, and sometimes it's not always the case. So tell me the question again so I can make sure that I answer it properly.
It was if you intellectually understand the causes and you want to heal, but emotionally you're facing resistance.
Okay, so first of all, the logic and the psychologic don't always line up. So logically, we could know that our parents were abusive or neglectful or smothering or any one of these shadows. It's just that emotionally, we may not be able to process the feelings around them. So through the mind map system, we're going to take the logic of the mind map and align it with the psychologic, which is a completely different system of logic. And when the two meet each other, then all of these shadows and doubts and old belief systems start to dissolve. And through reprocessing old feelings so that they don't keep reverberating in your psyche, we have to reprocess these feelings so that they don't hold power over you. And that's how we do it. We work through, and where we really do most of the work specifically around that question that you just asked is in panel 6, break down, break through. So either we're breaking down or we're breaking through, and the way we're breaking through is we have to take all the pain and all of the misperceptions and crackments of perception, misperceptions, and source them back to the cause. Okay, and so if any one of you wants more information, we're here for you. We've got an amazing team of people, and you're welcome to get a free copy of my book, Be the Cause, Healing Human Disconnect. We'll send you a PDF version of that, and please don't hesitate to book a free consultation. And as I step back and view this, I'm thinking, that's a new version of panel 1. So thank you for allowing me to use this art form as a metaphor and help you understand some of the concepts that I created.
We have a few more questions.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
From Patrice Townsend, I haven't wanted to go into therapy, but I'm interested in using the journaling process with your mind map as a guide.
Okay.
What is your feeling about journaling and the healing process?
I think that as long as you have a guide, and speaking of a guide, you can either have a human guide or you can have the Mind Map video series, which are kept at a discounted rate of $195 US. So anyone can follow me in the video, and I'll take you through all the panels. And so it's just you and me going through the process, and you will download the journal, and of course you can download the video and journal through your wounds of childhood, how they reacted within you, how they encoded within you, the kind of chaos that they created, which is why people come to therapy, the defenses that you erected around them so that you don't live in that horrible psychological prison, and it'll also help you to break through so you're not stuck at the effect of panel 1 and all the wounds. So that is one way to do it. Another way to do it is to have a guide bring you through this, or combine a video series with a guide, and the guides could be any one of the team members. We have psychologists on staff, we have marriage and family therapists on staff, we have a life coach on staff, and of course, I'm the founder of the Psychological Healing Center and the creator of the Be the Cause system, and I'd be happy to be a guide to you also.
We have another question.
Okay.
My mom treated me as stupid. My husband has called me stupid, exploiting me so he doesn't have to own it. Hurt people and hurt others. My
That's
mother
right.
is not hurting me anymore. Should I move on?
No, because she is hurting you, because these psychoviruses go into the fiber of your being. So even though she's not there physically hurting you, if you haven't processed through the anger and the hurt and all the feelings, she's living in your head. So even though these people may be dead and gone, they're not really, because I call them psychoviruses, and these psychoviruses go deep into your psyche and they rule you, and then you pattern after your mother or your father, and you select people who will also call you stupid, and your boundaries get down. You see, panel one is also a metaphor for vulnerability. So when we're babies, we're vulnerable. We take in the world, and we're hoping that the world will be kind and compassionate, and we're hoping that the world will make us stronger. However, sometimes, as I mentioned before, that's not the case, that we actually get weakened. Okay, we get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. Why? Because our parents don't always give us the necessary psychological vitamins we need to be the best of our best. So the mind map is a process of healing, taking you from the wounds of your past, decoding them, and then recoding you into health, and clearing these shadows so that you can start to flow again.
That's all the questions for now.
Okay, thank you so much for joining me. This has been a really fun, creative process for me, and I have no idea what this looks like. I think I'll step back in a few minutes and just kind of stare at what the Freud I did here. And if you have additional questions, please feel free to call the team, call me, and get a free consultation, and of course the book and the Mind Map video series. Thank you for joining me on Metaphorically Explaining Panel 1, the darkness and the light and the wounds, and how to see it through to breakthrough.
We have a comment, a response to your answer to the question.
Okay.
Thank you for your input. I've been learning a lot about my parents now that they have both passed. Disturbing things that I was not aware of.
I'm so glad to hear that, and that is a key to mental health, is when we shine the truth light on lies and misperceptions, suddenly our paradigm begins to shift, and we're no longer stuck in seeing things in the old light.
Why don't we get a closer look at your painting? All right. There it is.
There it is. A lot of energy.
All right.